What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are going to be jumping into a brand new comic. Headed up by Chip Zdarsky, this is Avengers Twilight, issue 1 and 2. This is going to be a 6-part miniseries, and Marvel is jumping us into the future. A very cyberpunk future. A future where superheroes do not exist anymore. The golden age of heroes is gone. Either the heroes have died or they have grown old and they have retired. And in retirement, we have Steve Rogers, the once Captain America. The years have gotten to him. His body shows his aging. But even in this age, he looks at the way the world is becoming. He sees the things happening in the streets. He may not carry that shield any longer, but right now, more than ever, the world needs Captain America. So, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we pick up with Steve Rogers. We see how the years have aged him, the wrinkles across his face, the need for glasses, his bones ache, his joints pain him. For old man Steve Rogers, this is the day-to-day, as Steve is greeted by his significant other Rosa. She brings him a cup of coffee, and he prepares to head out for the day. As we head into the world, we see that this is a place of colors, a place of technology. It surrounds them, encapsulates them. One thing is for sure gone in this era, and that is the heroes, the villains. This is turned more into a police state than some country of the free. But as Steve makes his way to the park, this is where he is met up by old Luke Cage. These two old men headed to the park to meet up with Matt Murdock. This is their daily routine. They go to the park, they feed the pigeons, they do what old men do. As they begin talking, we learn that Matt Murdock is still practicing law. In fact, he is overrun with cases. There is a new act known as the Watcher Act. It is turning every kid's phone, at least an old camera phone, into a criminal. Add in the fact that there are what is known as terror curfews, a curfew that had been implemented because of Hydra, and Steve Rogers is very happy that Matt has opened up this clinic. They need all the legal help that they can get in this city. Matt Murdock making a comment that somebody's gotta do something. Now Steve, he takes this a little personal, because he did try. He ran for office, but they didn't want him in office. He is nothing more than an old soldier. At least that's how he perceives the world to perceive him. We also learn that he no longer has the super soldier serum. Asking what Luke Cage has been up to, he says he's got his own thing going on. But for him, he's just the ex-mayor. Steve Rogers is a symbol. Rights are being squashed. And in this world, Steve Rogers' voice means something. But the people voted for the world that they live in. Over and over and over again, they voted for this. This is the will of the people. And so as we pick up later that evening, we pick up with Steve and Rosa. As Steve sits here and he makes some dinner for the two of them. On the news, what we see is a new documentary coming out. It is called Read Between the Lines, Part 1 of The Lost Nazi, a documentary on the notorious Red Skull. Now, we all know the history of Red Skull. Steve Rogers knows this better than anybody else. But this documentary, it is saying that history and heroes alike had twisted the story of Red Skull. That the truth is, in their eyes, Red Skull was trying to take down Hitler from within the Third Reich, saying that he sacrificed his own family, his own face, his own reputation for decades. Obviously, this infuriates Steve. Now, Steve Rogers will agree that Red Skull was trying to take down Hitler, but this was all because Red Skull wanted to lead the Nazis. And this hurt Steve Rogers' heart. Headed off to his room knowing that nobody really cares about the truth anymore. Going to an old box, pulling out an old picture, him and all the Avengers together, and thinking to himself that nobody cares anymore. Taking us to a crime scene, we have the new Avengers. We don't really know much about these guys, but we know that they're no good. They may look like the old Avengers, but they're not. This is all on the news, and the person watching the news is James Stark, the son of Wasp and Iron Man. He sits here with Jarvis, the brother of his old butler, and it appears that Jarvis is intertwined inside Stark Industries, with James running everything. But Jarvis is the CEO of the company. He has talked to the president and they are working on new soldier armor. Apparently, Latveria has increased hostilities with the Hungarian border. America wants to be prepared for this. They have also gotten word, the FBI keeping tabs on Steve Rogers, that he's about to stir up some trouble. Hopping over to the evening news, we got Steve Rogers. He's suited up, he's mic'd up, and he is ready to say his piece on what the truth actually is. Greeted here today, we have James. James coming in, calling him Uncle Steve. But we see that Steve's got some disdain for him. He is not thrilled to see James here calling him Jimmy. As they go live, they begin to talk about the Red Skull. And immediately, James starts going in on Captain America, saying that this old men in general, are trying to shut down free speech, that this documentary shouldn't air, that they're slinking out of retirement only when their legacy is in danger of being tarnished. And Steve tries to defend himself. He knows that Red Skull was a monster, that lots of good men and women died trying to stop him, that this trajectory of reporting, this travesty of reporting, what they call it is a slap in the face to all the heroes. This is when James goes on the other side and starts really talking about heroes in general. When does a person stop being a hero? How far is too far? Jimmy says that the world isn't as black and white as the heroes and villains had made it seem. But then there was H-Day, what is known as Hero Day. But this day was written in stone as a national tragedy, getting a glimpse of the absolute destruction. All of Boston was leveled. A day of reckoning for the superhero community. Hundreds dead. And this is the day that the world woke up. They realized there is no line between vigilante heroes and media-dubbed villains. That either side has unparalleled destruction. But the death count in this circumstance mostly fell to Dr. Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. A man that was a former Avenger. And Steve tries to defend this, tries to say that Ultron was there, he enhanced the villains and took control of Banner. But Jimmy flips this on him, the evil AI created by another Avenger. So how can we believe you about Red Skull when you can't even tell what a real hero looks like? This gets under his skin. He tells James that I know what a hero looks like because I knew your parents. And all you're doing today is trying to tarnish their legacy. You're doing so you don't look hollow in comparison to them. With these words, Captain America storms off camera. He knows that he shouldn't have let Jimmy get to him like that. It was all a ploy, all a scheme. But he can't help but think that when he was James's age, he was in the trenches. He was watching his friends die, reminiscing of H-Day. The flames, the destruction, the heroes all about. This is when he clutches his chest. They took the super soldier serum from him. But as he drifts into memory, we pick up with Tony Stark mentioning that every single hero's secret identity, it has been blown wide open. Everybody is being lured to their loved ones and they are being ambushed. Ambushed by groups of supervillain, all enhanced. At this time, they don't know who is doing the enhancements. What they do know is that they gotta stop this as quickly as possible. With Cap getting his boots on ground, this is where he finds Spider-Man. Spider-Man bleeding out, impaled on the ground. He was lured here just like everybody else had been lured to their loved ones. He tells Captain America to save his aunt, to save May Parker, going to tell Captain America exactly who he is, unable to get the words Peter Parker out. As Spider-Man dies, Cap lets him know that you will always be Spider-Man because you are the best of us. This is where Captain America comes back. In an alleyway, he is met by some of the local authority, all Iron Man'd up. These officers, they act like they're about to do something to him, but Cap walks away. He takes the opportunity and he gets going. But when some local kids skateboarding, recording, having a grand old time, they start skating nearby, and the officers recognize this. Illegal recording, out past curfew. Things look like they're about to go sideways. That's where Captain America steps in. He takes his glasses off. And when the first officer swings at him, we see that Cap, he still has it. But he's an old man, no super soldier serum. And so while he was able to get the upper hand just for a moment, these guys younger, with weapons and armor, they start jumping Captain America. But while this is happening, we have some cloaked individuals that come in. They disarm the officers, they put them down on the ground, and they pick Cap up off the ground, putting a bag over his head. As he gets taken off to a secret location, we pick up with James. And James is getting ready to have a conversation, going into a clean room and then bringing him into another room with a giant vat in the center. This vat holds the head of Tony Stark. An Iron Man helmet on the outside, apparently a way for James to communicate with his father. What we're seeing is that the son of Wasp and Iron Man, it appears that this kid is no hero. This is what picks us up with Luke Cage and Captain America, with Cap trying to figure out what is going on. Luke Cage starts by letting him know that you were made for war. He also lets him know that Matt Murdock is dead. That's how bad it has gotten out there. On the surface, everything looks good, but underneath, this society is rotting away. The government and S.H.I.E.L.D. are squashing any political dissident. The new Avengers are laying waste to countries overseas. And Captain America believes that he would have seen this, that he would have known, he would have heard something. The truth is, everything is controlled. The internet, the news, all controlled by conglomerates. All part of a group that James is attached to. Now, Luke has been trying to get the word out, broadcasting as much as he can, spreading the truth, but it's not enough. The people need something to rally behind. And there is only one person for a job like this. They're gonna do this by giving Captain America what is rightfully his. They are going to do this by making Steve Rogers a super soldier yet again. They have been working tirelessly to try and recreate the super soldier serum to the best of their ability. Now, they had intended for their own to be using the super soldier serum. The problem is, the serum only works on specific individuals. Everybody that they have put in that seat has died. They know for certain that Captain America can take the super soldier serum, with Luke Cage referring to his individuals, his little group, as the Defenders. He tells Steve that I don't expect you to be a part of this working from the shadows. You're Captain America. You're an Avenger. You need to be out there where the people can see you. Your symbol will be the change. That Matt Murdock died defending people who the system was trying to disappear. They have been working non-stop trying to gain intel on all of this. People on the inside have managed to get them photos, showing him the Americans, showing them what they are up against. He knows he has no other option. And so Captain America, he takes the super soldier serum. He is opening his eyes after all of these years. He knows what needs to be done. Captain America has returned, and it is time for him to reform the Avengers. This is where we're gonna jump into issue number 2. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we have a homeless man that is being picked on. While these officers are messing with this guy, telling him he doesn't belong here, their heads get smashed together. And the person that smashed their heads is none other than Captain America, letting this old man know that it is all going to be okay. Steve Rogers heads down to the Defenders' underground base. The government has complete control over what everybody sees. That means there are almost zero live events that can be really disrupted. Sporting events are far too secure in the arenas and parks. So their prime opportunity is New Year's Eve in Times Square. The remote news stations will be on site. They've been working on a device that will override and broadcast whatever they want. Captain America not really used to winning the hearts and minds so much as being on the battlefield. But this is the war that he now wages. The government and corporations are the enemy. And this isn't happening just here at home. America's been really committing atrocities across the globe, and they're doing this by using the Avengers. Nobody even knows about it. But as this conversation comes to an end, Captain America goes and he meets up with Rosa. They brought her in secret. He wasn't able to let her know what was going on, and obviously, she is irate. She is not happy about this. In fact, she goes as far to slap him and let him know that they are over, that there is no them anymore. She can't go home, she can't go to work. She is now trapped here because of what he has done. He has uprooted her life without the second of thoughts. But Cap doesn't have time to worry about this. His love life is going to have to take the back seat. Right now in Washington, D.C., we have Jarvis, Jimmy, meeting up with the President of the United States. And for all intents and purposes, Jimmy is in charge. He's the CEO, blah, 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 blah. The one pulling all the strings is Jarvis. Right now, they're talking about Captain America coming out of retirement. They are 100% certain that this is him, that he is working with the Defenders. And this is a resistance that will grow unless they crush it. But what they don't want is to call in the Avengers, the new Avengers, and have some accidental footage of their Captain America punching a geriatric soldier. Jimmy wants to send in the Thunderbolts. And at first, the president, he is against this, that he doesn't want to start a war within the country borders. This is when Jarvis says, "Who do you think you are?" And he says that he's the president. He's not just some CEO, but Jarvis says that he's the CEO of America, and that the president is nothing more than a mascot, grabbing him by the tie and throwing him into his seat, saying that the secret to the Secret Service is that they work for him. And the president does as well. It is his money that put him in that seat, that they'll take care of Steve Rogers. As we pick up on a Marine base, the orders have come down. There is a terrorist attack going to happen on New Year's Eve. As they get the information, they see that this is Captain America, the original. They're saying that he's gone rogue. And with these orders coming down, nearby we have two soldiers. Liberating what's going on, they hear that the Thunderbolts are going after Steve Rogers. We don't really know who these two individuals are, but what they say is that history is full of heroes going bad. It is their job to find them and neutralize them. But a lot of people are very uneasy about going after Captain freaking America. As we pick up with Cap, he has made his way to Kamala Khan. Now in retirement, having kids of her own, living the quiet life. He has come to her because he needs her help, but she freaks out, saying that you can't be here, that too much is in jeopardy, that they lost. They lost everything on H-Day, saying that she can't believe he would come here. She has a family. He is risking all of Kamala Khan's life by even walking to this doorstep. He apologizes, but right now it is just him, Luke, and some kids. The world needs her right now more than ever. The world needs heroes more than ever. But she tells him to get out. Steve says his piece. He leaves without trying to convince her any further. But he does let her know that the Dark Avengers protocols, they are now in effect if she ever needs to get in touch. Now Steve knows that she's been working on the side as a hero. The stories and reports of a giant hand coming to save their life. And as she goes into a secret location in her home, underneath everything, she has been listening to the pirate station. She's been listening to the Defenders talk about the way the world is. She may not be part of the organization, but Kamala Khan has been out here fighting the good fight in her own way. But now it is time to organize. It is time to rally together. This is what picks us up in Times Square. The festivities are in full effect and everybody is waiting for the strike of midnight. As they're able to take down two of the guards, there's a third that sees one of them. In a matter of moments, the report goes out. The Defenders are fighting for their lives. Things went sideways very quickly, so Captain America has to jump into the fray. He starts smashing some skulls. He's throwing these guys left and right. Even having the super soldier serum yet again, his knee still isn't 100%. But the most important thing in this situation is the broadcasting switch. As it gets thrown over to Cap, he grabs hold of it. But when one of the Thunderbolts decide they're gonna pull out a pistol and try to shoot at Captain America, it misses and hits a civilian. And that's when Cap lays down some hate, crushing this dude's face, letting him know that there are hundreds of innocent people here. On a rooftop nearby, they call for BULLSEYE. And right now in her scope is Captain America. She's got him right in the crosshairs, and when she goes to pull the trigger, instead of shooting Captain America, she shoots the tablet. This is when the Thunderbolts have to stand down. The situation is now going live to the world. They just shot a civilian. They gotta get out of there, and they gotta do it now, or this is going to be a PR nightmare. With Captain America being thrown a microphone, he is live to the world. And Cap begins to speak. He tells them that I am Steve Rogers. He is here today to let them know that the government has stolen away all of their freedoms. That the Watcher Act isn't here to protect you. It is to protect them. They do this so the light will never shine on their crimes. They will do whatever they want, however they want, and there will be no evidence that they did anything. He tells them that you can be free again, that together we can fight back. With Captain America finishing up his speech, they know they gotta get out of here. They grab him and they hightail it, taking off on motorcycles. Bullseye had an opportunity to take a shot at Captain America twice and didn't do it. It appears that his message had more of an impact than he might believe. As we pick up with Jimmy, he has been using his father's brain to really help him with his new armor, ideas, things of that nature. The truth is, James isn't his father. He will never be his father. He will never have the mind of his father. That's why he uses Tony Stark in that vat. This is where Jarvis goes on to tell Jimmy that you are going to put on an Iron Man suit, that things have changed. Steve Rogers is a dog with a bone, and only one thing is going to cause him to misstep, knowing his friend's son is inside that armor. That Iron Man is James's destiny. This is where we pick up with Jarvis. And Jarvis is talking with freaking Ultron. Ultron is letting him know that you are losing control. While this conversation is ongoing, we are getting glimpses of H-Day. We are getting glimpses of the day the heroes fell, but also Ultron fell. Jarvis is telling him that you didn't have enough of this on H-Day, of patience. That is why you lost. And Jarvis, he watched him lose himself and thought to himself, how does a robot not have patience? This is when we learn that Jarvis is in fact Red freaking Skull. Now all of this makes sense. Red Skull is trying to clear his own freaking name. Ultron is sitting here inside of a computer. He is inside some kind of crude prison, and he needs Red Skull to be able to free him. Once he has set the world into shape and is ready to depart it, Red Skull will let the robots have their way with it for a millennia or so. Let Ultron bring Earth into the next great era. This is the danger that Captain America and the whole world are facing. Now back at home base, Luke is trying to get any communications out. Nobody was swayed by the speech of Captain America. Now Cap was a little naive. He thought that he could talk to the world and everybody would just see the daylight. That didn't happen. In fact, this has kind of worked against Captain America. Nobody really believes him. There may be select individuals, like Bullseye. Small individuals here and there may be swayed. This is the beginning stages, but this isn't gonna happen overnight. That's when Luke Cage smacks Captain America in the back of the head. He tells him to shut up, that we don't have time for you or your American dream speeches, that we don't do this to be liked. We do this because it is the right thing to do. Bad people are doing bad things, and so we must stop them. Now granted, this would be easier if the world was with them, but they're gonna do it on their own. This is when one of the defenders comes in with some information. It took their people months to get the inside scoop on a secret weapon, but they're gonna need help. And if they're gonna get help, they're gonna get help from the world's smartest man. This is where they show the blueprints of the vat that Tony Stark is in. They have confirmed that some aspects of Tony Stark are still very much alive. And so now Captain America is going to rescue Iron Man. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I don't know about you guys, but I am 100% on board with this story. Now, Chip Zdarsky has been knocking it out of the park with most of the writing that he's been doing, whether it be Marvel or DC Comics. Personally, love what he's doing at DC with the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. He really has been putting out some phenomenal stories. Not all of them are, home run hitters, but I think he understands what the comic book reader wants. I'm a big fan of Avengers Twilight because it breaks up everything that is currently going on. You like to switch it up every now and then. You don't want to continue on the same story arc or jumping into a new story arc every 4 issues. This is an opportunity to tell an enclosed story in 6 issues. A story of the future. A story where superheroes are almost non-existent, where the government controls everything, where freedoms are stripped away. I'm very curious on how they even took the super soldier serum from Captain America to begin with, because that in itself is so dangerous. He may have gotten the serum again, but what's to stop them from trying to take it away from him? Seeing the state of Iron Man, seeing the way that Iron Man's son is, it just breaks your heart. Knowing who Tony Stark is, knowing what Iron Man represents, and to see his son go down this path, unknowingly, under the control of Red Skull and freaking Ultron. He wants to make a name for himself so badly this separates him from his mother and father that he is completely oblivious to what is right underneath his nose. And then the death of Matt Murdock off page. That's definitely a direction to take. It would have been nice to actually see what happened with Matt Murdock, but it's not hugely important to the overall story. What we do know is that he was doing some things that the government didn't like, and so they took care of him. I think this story is going to be hugely successful because this is where Captain America is in his element. Against the odds, the world against him. But that doesn't stop Captain America. He will change every single heart, every single mind, even if it's one at a time. He will do this until his body is broken, beaten, and he is nothing more than a cadaver. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that is going on with Avengers Twilight. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, make sure that you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content that we have coming out, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.